Hey kids, have you ever had anyone tell you to do something, but then a little voice inside of your head told you to do something else? Like maybe your parents asked you to do the dishes, but the little voice in your head told you to go play video games instead? Or your teacher told you to stop talking, but the voice in your head told you to talk even more?
Well, in today's lesson, we're going to see how Pharaoh was told to do something, but he listened to that little voice in his head. Moses went to Egypt with a simple message for Pharaoh.
At the end of our last lesson, God told Moses to go back to Egypt.
Moses had to tell Pharaoh to let his people go. They weren't going to be slaves anymore. Memory verse.
I am the Lord. I will free you from your oppression and will rescue you from your slavery in Egypt. Moses was nervous and didn't think he could do it, but God knew that he could. So Moses went and talked to Pharaoh.
Pharaoh didn't listen, and he told Moses to go take a hike. Moses did exactly what God told him. He went to Pharaoh and told him he needed to let the people go, or God would punish the Egyptians.
Pharaoh refused and told Moses to get out of Egypt. He wasn't going to let the Israelites go, and he wasn't going to let Moses scare him.
That was a really bad decision on Pharaoh's part, because what happened next was really bad.
God unleashed 10 plagues to prove his power. Moses told Pharaoh that God would punish him if he didn't let the Israelites go.
And God did just that. He sent 10 different plagues to Egypt.
There was a bunch of flies, a huge hailstorm, everyone got blisters, and 3 days of darkness, just to name a few. But the worst of all was all the firstborn babies dying. The plagues were terrible for Pharaoh, but God had to show him who was boss.
After the 10th plague, Pharaoh was finally ready to let the people go. Some people have to learn the hard way that God is in control.
Think about how much easier things would have been if Pharaoh had just listened to God in the first place.
Kids, sometimes we can be just like Pharaoh. We know what's right, but we still don't do it.
So does that mean that God will send us plagues? Probably not.
But he might let us reap some bad consequences.
And we'll end up learning the lesson the hard way, just like Pharaoh did.
So next time your parents ask you to do dishes, don't listen to that little voice in your head.
Do what they ask so you don't have to learn how to obey the hard way.